My name is Raafi Rivero. I'm the creator of Unarmed, and in my other life, a filmmaker. I feel a lot of pressure. There are a few days where it just feels like the world is pressing on my skin, like where it's just hard to breathe. To me, the problem has always been so obvious that there's racism and it's killing people, and a lot of people just don't agree with you, and they say, no, it's got to be something else. And it's like, what else could it be at this point? And when I was a kid, like I was really good at baseball and soccer, and you'd watch TV and stuff like that, and you'd see the kids in the commercials, and they talking about an all-American kid, and I just thought, like, who is more all-American than me? If they're talking about an all-American kid, they're talking about me. Like, I just knew that I was that guy. And at some point in my life, I realized that nobody else thought of me that way, and that nobody would ever think about me that way. It's just really painful in that way. Each unarmed jersey has the name of the victim, whether it's Eric Garner or George Floyd, and it has their age as the jersey number. George Floyd was 46, so it's number 46. Eric Garner was 43.
I did nothing. We sitting here the whole time, mind our business.
It's designed in the color of a local sports team. So Eric Garner is in Staten Island, New York. The closest sports team is the Staten Island Yankees, which is the minor league team. And they have the Yankee pinstripes, and so I designed the jersey with that. And then somewhere along the way, I was just thinking about how many times some of the people have been shot by the police. Eric Garner, of course, was choked, but when I first moved to New York, there was the Sean Bell incident in 2006, and he was shot 50 times by the cops on the night of his bachelor party. So there are 50 stars on that jersey. Breonna Taylor was in bed. The police busted into her home, shot her 8 times. So there are 8 stars on her jersey. So those are the main elements, just the color, the number, and the stars. Athletes occupy this interesting space because they're revered for what they can do in one area of their lives, and yet their whole personhood is often denied in the wider culture. One of the problems with black masculinity, at least as it's depicted in the media, it's this hyper-masculinity, and part of it is because of sports and the way sports are marketed. They're these kind of black men that are infallible physical beings with perfect bodies. You can run and jump and do all this stuff, and that doesn't make room for us as emotional beings. I always love it when you're watching like the championship of some sport, and they win the championship and all the guys are crying, and it's the only time you see a black man cry. It's really tough every single time to design a new one. You want every jersey to be the last one, and often what happens is the next week something happens. I designed the George Floyd jersey. We printed them, presented them on the streets. It got a great response, and then I'm coming home and you see the Rayshard Brooks video on Twitter. I can't even revel in having brought my artwork onto the streets before I'm looking at another video looping as a GIF on my Twitter feed of a guy getting shot in the back because he took a nap in his car. It's exhausting, man.
I must tell you, I watched the shooting in particular in Tulsa. And that man was hands up. I mean, to me, it looked like he did everything you're supposed to do.
Shots fired!
Ooh.
321, we have shots fired. We have one suspect down. We need to enter here.
They need to get this eastbound closed down if they could, because they're not going to be able to let anybody.
Okay. Police 1, we're going to need to get eastbound.
So many people have these balkanized lives, and you look on their Facebook profiles and all their friends are white, or vice versa, all their friends are black. I don't know how you can live like that. In a weird way, the easiest way to start conquering racism is just to have some friends who are from a different race. You know, it's not that hard. I've been stopped and frisked by the police. I've been pulled over for no reason. I've been called the N-word. I've had any number of racist things that have happened in my life, jobs I've been passed over for. So it's affected my life. It's a force in my life that is hurting me and has held me back at times. Here's something that I can do that's about my own subjectivity, but about a thing that millions of people have a lot of grief and trauma about. I don't actually want to do this job. Like with George Floyd, it took me a whole week and a half after he was killed, and I was sitting there like, oh, I don't want to do this again. You know, somebody else is going to protest. And I was looking one day at all the old jerseys I designed, and I include a photograph of each person. I was looking at all their pictures, and I felt like these people were just looking at me like, yo, you're not going to design a jersey for this man? I find that thing of someone will have a favorite player, but they won't have any black friends, to be fascinating. And it felt like a great way to talk about this disconnect and social justice through this thing that we all love, which is sports.